So it's Thursday. It's October 20. We have 19 days left to go. And yesterday I told you we were going to go to Theodore Roosevelt National Park, and here we are. So I'll put a few other pieces of footage in so that you can get a feel for what this place is. Impossible to really capture this. It's kind of like trying to capture the Grand Canyon on camera. It's impossible. If you've never been in the Grand Canyon, you won't understand that. If you have, you completely understand it. This place is magnificent. It's the Badlands in North Dakota, right at Medora, North Dakota. I came from, where were we? We were Miles City yesterday and came up here today. And the significance of Theodore Roosevelt National Park is simply that Theodore Roosevelt came here when he was 25, after his wife gave birth to their child and died. And the same night, in the same house, his mother died of, I think it was tuberculosis or some other disease, unexpectedly. Both of them unexpectedly. So this 25-year-old Theodore Roosevelt was crushed. And he had always been an adventurer, and he wanted to come to the Dakotas at that time. This is 1880s. And over a number of years, he came out to the Dakotas, gave up political life. He had just run and served in the state assembly in Albany, New York. And he came out here for a number of years and bought into the cattle business. And there's nothing out here at this time. It was very rustic. And he became a cattle rancher and a cowboy, really. That's what his life became. So he loved this area. He spent a total of 2 years out here and invested and even built a home along a creek up a ways that you can go kind of hike and see. But the most important part of this is he really recovered himself here. He was completely depressed and shattered. He is madly in love with his wife and madly in love with his mother. He would write his mother constantly before she died, all through his life. He loved her and his wife. So he was crushed and came out, and he really felt the value of hard work. He loved being out here. He loved the scenery. He loved being with the people here, who they were very simple people, and hard work. He'd sometimes be on the saddle for 12, 14 hours a day. The guy actually did his own work, even though he was quite wealthy. So he recovered himself and really inspired himself from his loss and his depression, and went back and eventually found another wife that he fell madly in love with and had a family, and we know the rest of the story, became president. But the importance of his love for this area turned into him naming so many areas in our country as national forests, designating huge swaths of land, millions and millions of acres of land as preserve and national forests, and they were just getting into national parks at that time. So he was designating national monuments that later turned into national parks, and he just really felt that it was important that we preserve the special land that we have in the country, whether you like it or not. I love it, personally. I love national parks. I love that we preserve this stuff. But he was out in the West here, and he saw the waste that would happen, the way that man can destroy land, and he didn't feel that we should do that. So how about that for a speech today? Okay, 19 days to go. Last night was the debates. You saw my reaction to it in my blog last night. Heading from here across North Dakota over into Minnesota, and eventually down through Chicago, Cleveland, and then we're getting to Philly at the end. So in the end, yeah, I don't know what else to say. You saw my comments last night. I love this country. It's not just this country, our country, but this country. I love our country. I think we can do better, is all I have to say. Okay, thanks for listening. I'll try to do another one tomorrow. See you later.